Yeah. Miami. South Beach, bringing the heat. Can y'all feel that?
Welcome back. We're live from the DraftKings Week 1 Kickoff Bash right here in South Beach, Miami. It's Mike Cardano, Tony Cincotta from the Fantasy Sports Network. Absolutely bringing you the best opportunity in the world to be in Miami playing daily fantasy sports. And who could be better than Scott Osbourne? Scott, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Now, Scott, it's interesting. I was talking to you a little, and you play at DraftKings, and you've went and basically had some lifetime experiences based on some DraftKings winnings.
Yeah, in the last year, I've had some great experiences. My son got to throw out the opening pitch for the Chicago Cubs on July 4th at their max capacity for Wrigley. I got to meet Tiger and spend a weekend for the Tiger Jam and play in his charity poker tournament. I won my seat in the World Series of Poker main event. And a couple weeks ago, I played in the World Fantasy Baseball Championship. And I came in 8th and won $80,000. Which for me is like 100 because I live in Canada.
Well, there you go. So, do you do anything else besides baseball?
I do it all.
Do it all?
Like any draft, except for hockey, which sounds funny because I'm Canadian, but just not very good at it.
You know, it's amazing. Of course, the Fantasy Sports Network you can watch on Rogers, $4.99. So when you get home, you'll be able to watch yourself right here on Rogers.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. So there you go. So it's amazing. You talked about your kid throwing out the first pitch in the Cubs game. DraftKings has a lot of these life experiences. Now, how do you go about trying to win these type of events, and why did you focus on these kind of events?
You know what? I go in every single one of them. They offer all kinds of different experiences, especially with Major League Baseball. But, you know, it's stuff money just can't buy. It's great. And everything I've done with them is, bar none, just been the best experience. I mean, even this. For me, I didn't come straight to Miami. I went to Boston first, and I got to go to the New England game in the DraftKings suite, which was unbelievable. 155 people, 2 floors, just great. How am I ever going to see a football game like that?
Yeah, that's true. You can't even just buy. You get to hang out with Tiger and stuff. You can't just pay to go see him, call him up, and do it. Even if you had the money,
right? You
have to have the forum to do it. So, what is your style of play? Are you really aggressive? Are you playing cash games aside from these tournaments where you're trying to go for these different types of live event experiences? Are you playing a lot of cash games? Are you playing a lot of tournaments? Are you aggressive, looking for low-owned percentage people? What do you do?
No, I don't play any heads up. I don't think I'm good enough to. I do go in a lot of the cash tournaments, especially when it's a high cash prize because, I want to win. It's a low percentage, but I do enjoy playing them. I do go in every experience. I mean, they just had one about 2 weeks ago with Dan Bilzerian, and I was like, wow, I got to win that. And you maxed out at 3, so I started making my friends open up accounts so that I could get some more entries in.
What's the best potential prize you could have won experience? What's the one that you wanted the most?
A weekend with Dan Bilzerian.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's interesting. Of course, we're at the DraftKings extravaganza, the Week 1 Kickoff Bash. When you first started playing daily fantasy, how did you get involved in it?
I've never played fantasy leagues ever, like the year-long
season
ones.
Long? No.
Never. I think I did it once, and I shared it with someone, and I just found that I was stuck. Yeah, I like betting on sports, so once I had a team with my buddy, and I had to start Aaron Rodgers. I'm betting Green Bay to win every game, even if I didn't like it, just because he was my starting quarterback. Now I get to pick and choose as I go. I think it's great.
So are you highly analytical, using a lot of statistics and metrics, or are you kind of going by what you feel?
Mostly, I try to use a little bit of numbers, but for me, I mostly like to go against the public. A lot of the times I've won have been with guys that nobody else had. In the World Baseball Championship, not one of my players hit a home run, and I still placed 8th.
Wow.
Well, give me some of the roster from that. Do you remember it?
Yeah, of course. I took Patrick Corbin as my pitcher. I think all my friends at home called me insane, but he ended up being the highest scoring pitcher of the day. Scooter Gennett, J.D. Martinez, Paul Goldschmidt, A.J. Pollock, Jonathan LaCroix.
We were, of course, talking to Scott Osbourne, Mike Cardano, Tony Cincotta on the Fantasy Sports Network live from the weekend bash of Week 1 kickoff for DraftKings. And we're talking a little DraftKings. You know, it's amazing. You say you live in Canada, and, of course, you're here in the United States. Is fantasy sports, daily fantasy sports, big in Canada?
Oh, it's huge.
Huge.
Yeah, it's getting bigger every week, for sure. Most of my friends are playing it now.
Is anybody playing CFL daily fantasy?
What's CFL? Is there CFL fantasy? I don't know. I don't watch the CFL.
You don't watch? Is anybody?
You know what? I was so bored on Labor Day that I actually bet on a CFL game. But that's like the first time in my life.
Now, you had the opportunity to go to the New England Patriots, Pittsburgh Steelers, and, of course, that was the kickoff. Did you have any of the players in that first contest? It was a game with high scoring. There was Antonio Brown, a lot of people.
I do.
Ben Roethlisberger. Who did you have in that one?
I am in the King of Miami. There's only 20 players in it. And I only took Gronkowski and Wheaton. Which, you know, I didn't mind that. A lot of guys took a lot of guys from the game. I just felt I had to take Gronkowski. 70% of the draft did, so Wheaton was kind of a wild card. I would have hoped he got more points.
You took him to keep up, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Now, how many entries do you participate in when we get to the Millionaire Maker this weekend? $10 million in prizes. Of course, $2 million first prize. How many entries, or give us a roundabout figure you put into a contest like this?
In a contest like this, I mean, I think I'll probably put in at least 100 lineups, maybe more. So it's hard to put together 100 lineups, though. I'm literally talking about missing college football and going up to my room for the next 10 hours. And, I mean, some of them are going to be really random because with 500-something thousand people, it's not going to be easy to win.
Yeah. So how do you feel about your prospects tomorrow? You only had 2 players play so far. Have you changed anybody else? Have you swapped anybody else out since then?
I put a dummy lineup in. It's definitely nobody that I'm keeping. I'm going to go back through it tonight. I like my prospects. The guys I'm playing are really, really good players because I follow them all online, and I see them at the top of the leaderboards day after day. But, I think I can hold my own with them.
You know what? I'm most interested in what you just said. So you got to go up to your room, spend 10 hours putting in 100 lineups. So there's no spreadsheets that you use, or there's no computer-generated lineups. You just come off the top of your head?
No. I mean, if you saw the pictures from my room in Vegas, my entire bed and walls were plastered with paper and things, me going scratching them off and changing lineups.
Now that's great.
And, it took me my wife was like, what the hell are you doing? Just go downstairs in the casino for the next 6 hours, please. I'm busy.
Now, we got to get our camera guys up to his room. I want to see his bed plastered all in action.
So you go at it and you truly put in and write out the 100 lineups that you're going to come up with?
No, not for this. For the 100 lineups, that's a little bit different. For that baseball championship, I only had one draft.
Yeah.
And I just, I felt like to beat those guys, a lot of them had 5 entries.
Yeah.
So I had to come up with the perfect draft, which I didn't, but I was happy coming in 8th.
It's interesting because a lot of these guys, and I've done these live events and I've done these interviews, so I ask them, how do you feel? Are you a little nervous having only put in one lineup? Because some of these guys put in, 100, 1,000, and they were like, yeah, it's weird because to settle on one lineup bothered some of them. So do you feel like in that type of environment, maybe you have an advantage?
No, I wish I had more lineups for that. I tried winning more lineups, but it just didn't happen for me.
All right, so we're going to participate in the football. You're doing a little college football here. Basketball you participate in?
I do, for sure.
And where do you find you have your most success?
So far, baseball. Especially because I'm relatively new to it, and all the experiences that they have through Major League Baseball, that I go in those contests, and that's what got me going on it was like I said, those lifetime experiences.
I've never played one. Have you?
Oh, I play them all the time. I'm so mad. Like, I can't win one.
I went to look at them once for them. I never played. They're not as simple to find as some of the other things.
Yeah.
You got to scroll way further down. But I look for them all.
I do, too. I'm the same way, and I just haven't been successful. I got to get friends to get some accounts so I can have more opportunities.
There you go.
Exactly. That's the way to go about it. All right, last question I'm going to ask you. If you had one, DraftKings is going to watch this. DraftKings is out there listening. If there was one experience that you would love to meet, a person you would love to meet, what would you love for DraftKings to put together?
Oh, man. Well, I want that Dan Bilzerian weekend again because he has the American dream.
He's the American dream.
Yeah.
See, I would like it, Mike, myself, if I could do karaoke with Britney Spears.
Well,
That's something. I'd like to do that.
is that what
too.
they call it, karaoke?
She actually went on my sister's TV show.
Really?
My sister's on How I Met Your Mother. She's Robin on that show.
Really?
And she was having Britney on there. And I was like, can I come down and meet her? And it was when she was going through her crazy phase. So they wouldn't let anybody get near her, not even the extras. So I never got to meet her.
So you said you have a son?
I have 3 sons.
3 sons.
They all play baseball.
Are they interested in what you're doing at all here? Are they following it along? How old are they?
13, 10, and 8.
Oh, so they're old enough to understand sports. Do they know what Dad's doing and why he's paying attention to the
I'm
games?
teaching them.
Great stuff.
I
Scott,
don't want them drafting, though. I want them playing baseball.
Yeah.
that's true. You want to draft them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Scott Osbourne, we're live from the DraftKings Extravaganza, the Week 1 Kickoff Bash. Stay tuned for more Fantasy Sports Network. We'll be back after this.